Everybody, I'm sorry about that. The video cut off when I was saying it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a part 2 on this. So when we're talking about the poor, we have something that I'm going to call the fallacy of the one. All right? And the first part of the fallacy of one is if one person does it, everybody must do it. Now, how does this play out in the real world? All right? If one person buys porterhouse steak with their food stamps, that means everybody must buy porterhouse steak. So we've got to put safeguards in the system because everybody's buying porterhouse steak, even though it's the one person that's abusing it. So as a result, our qualifications for this become much, much higher. And when we have moms that are getting money as part of WIC, which is a program that helps mothers, we go so far, mothers with infants, we go so far as to limit what mom can buy for the infant to certain categories of products. But even if you look at food stamps, and by the way, I'm not calculating miscellaneous expenses in here because food stamps only cover food. That doesn't change the fact mom still needs toilet paper, mom needs paper towels, mom needs cleaners for the bathroom, mom has other expenses, all right? But the first part about the fallacy of one is if one person must do it, if one person does it, everybody else must be doing it. Second part of the fallacy of one is if one person can do it, everybody can do it. So if there is one person in the neighborhood that's struggling economically and where education is not a priority and we're dealing with underfunded schools, if there's one person that's able to go to college and come out and be a lawyer, then what we do is we look back at that neighborhood and go, well, you know, this one person did it, then everybody should be able to do it. Now, when the poor receive subsidies, we stigmatize them. And I'm going to ask you a question here, and I'm going to admit this is a loaded question. Should a 21-year-old who receives federal assistance be kicked off that assistance if they buy beer? And for the purpose of this scenario, mom's got 2 kids. And you know what? On a Friday afternoon, mom's been working, she's tired. She wants to just kick back and have a few beers and relax. Or worse yet, mom's receiving federal assistance, she goes out and buys a joint. Should we take away her federal assistance for that? I mean, there are states already that drug test as a requirement for getting on federal assistance. Interestingly enough, states that do this drug testing have found that they spend more in drug tests than they save in assistance because so few people end up testing positive. But alas, how about if that happens? Now, I'm having you think about this in the context of mom. But we also need to be aware that college students also receive substantial assistance. And a great deal of that assistance many times comes in the form of cash when financial aid comes in. And you know what? A number of students are known to spend that cash money on beer and on drugs. Now, even if you're not receiving a check as part of your financial aid package for expenses, the fact if you're in the state of Arkansas, you're receiving subsidized tuition and the state pays approximately 40% of what it costs to educate you. You're paying 60% right now. So anybody that's paying in-state tuition, irregardless of whether you receive a financial aid package, is receiving government assistance because of the subsidy for college. Now the reason I'm asking that is, I mean, in a classroom, it would be really easy to just do random drug tests or just have a breathalyzer out on Mondays when students come to class. Just have them breathalyze and see if there's alcohol in their system. And if they blow positive, we just take away their financial aid. That sounds preposterous, doesn't it? But the thing is so is the question financial assistance? Or do we only get upset when it's financial assistance for the poor? It raises an interesting question, doesn't it? Now, there's one other thing I want to point out before I close this. As Wilson has put out a premise that crime is a function of economic opportunity. All right? Crime is a function of economic opportunity. Now, when we look at these numbers, the amount that mom has to live on, if she's hit with a sudden expense, or God forbid, mom actually develops a drug habit, or something just happens out of the blue that mom doesn't expect, that cushion that we get from all of this, even if she's on public assistance, goes away really quick. And then it doesn't become so ridiculous to think of the fact, as we see in William Julius Wilson, that maybe, selling a little pot on the side, that may not be a bad way to supplement income. Or prostitution's quick money and get you out of a bind. Once somebody starts falling into a trap like that, it becomes really hard to get out. And it's all about, in this case, economic opportunity. It may develop into something more, but what starts it is a woman looking for money to support her family. So I want to give you something to think about here. Again, thank you for being patient with the part 1 and the part 2. I thank you for listening. And the next 2 classes are going to be videos. And the first video is going to talk about kids growing up poor. And the second video is going to take a look at food deserts. So I invite you to watch those. And I will be back with a lecture following that. Anyway, take care. Have a good one.